Hey, what's up guys? Thank you for tuning in here. Today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 1986 Scourge. So this guy is part of that hyper animation accurate Studio Series line from, or at least based on the 86 movie. So this guy, Hot Rod, Cup, Blur, all those guys are all going to be coming out like this. And you can kind of see how he kind of fills out the most animation accurate Scourge we've gotten, I want to say, in an official capacity ever, because yeah, we've not had an official masterpiece. We've only had, I believe, third-party masterpiece stuff, so at least for him. But yeah, you can see the sculpt back here. It's all like really streamlined. You can see it's kind of panely. I think the fun thing about him is that, you know, they pull off this really beautiful animation accurate sculpt. He looks convoluted almost, but no, his transformation is very simple. We'll get to that in a bit, but he's simplistic in the most beautiful ways. And I'd like to go ahead and get Scourge compared here to his original Generations counterpart. So here you have the two classic Scourge figures. I don't have the Titans Return one, so I do apologize. I can't get that comparison in there. But here are these two. I've always been a really big fan of this Scourge figure, even if it's not, you know, super G1 accurate. I just think it's really nice. I love the alt mode. I think the transformation is very fun and effective. So I've always been a big fan of this. So it's kind of bittersweet to replace him, but I'm really tempted to actually get like two more of him and use him as the sweeps. There is a rumor currently that there's going to be a retool of this Scourge into the sweeps. I don't really know what that entails, as the animation model for Scourge, you know, and the sweeps were the same, so I don't exactly know what that's going to be, but that's kind of my plan. And here's the look at two classic Scourges together. And because you kind of have to, I want to get him compared in here with Kingdom Cyclonus. So here are the new versions of Unicron's Heralds, and we're just waiting on Galvatron now from Kingdom. But you can see that Cyclonus here is freaking huge, and Scourge does scale up really nice. He's kind of a taller Voyager these days, but these guys are really sleek. They just look wonderful together. Their colors are striking, and I'm really liking these. I actually just opened Cyclonus like maybe 20 minutes ago because I wanted to get this shot for the video, and I've been messing with Scourge since yesterday. But yeah, they look wonderful together. I can't wait for Galvatron. Something I really wanted to highlight was Scourge's head sculpt. It's just really sharp and really beautiful. Let's take a look here. The paint is really nice on mine, so hopefully everybody can get one that, you know, looks really sharp without any paint smudging or chips. I love that he has the collar sculpting back there. His shoulders are sculpted with some paint on the inside. He just has a lot of love. The other thing about him too, I'd like to point out, before I do that, you can see he has a Decepticon logo that's super like cartoony. They didn't just like stamp on the movie logo, so that's really cool. But to kind of, I guess, support the theory that these are War for Cybertron and Kingdom runoffs, he does have 5mm ports in his feet. He also has them on his forearms and on his shoulder, and I don't know if this one works as a 5mm port, but hey, I don't know. He has these two down here as well, but he has a lot of the ports that would go for figures that are kind of compatible with weaponizers. Hot Rod has a few of them, but not all of them. But I really wanted to point that out on Scourge because it's really interesting. Scourge has a wonderful array of articulation, so let's look at that with his ball-jointed head that goes up and down that much. It can rotate left and right, but it's going to get blocked by the collar piece, so can get that much out of it. His arms are on hinges, so they go downward and upward that much. They rotate 360, but they're going to get knocked by his big wing dinghies over there. Biceps can rotate 360. His elbows can rotate 360. I'm going to get to the wrists in 1 second because there's a full thing with those. His waist can rotate 360. His legs can go forward and backward that much. They can go in and outward that much. They can bend at the knee. There is a swivel on these thighs, but it's a little tight, and it does that sometimes. But I'd rather it do that than, like, you know, rip the heck out of this stem in there. But that is a little tolerance issue. I don't think it's common. I haven't seen anybody else do it, so hopefully. Foot is on a pivot system, so it has a sideways movement, and also because of his articulation, or I'm sorry, his transformation, his toes go downward, and his heel spurs can fold in and out. So now for his wrists. This wrist over here is not that bad because you can brace a lot of it. It has really good structure to be able to grab it and turn it. This wrist over here does not. I'm pretty sure that these hands, you can see that there is some really nice paint on these hands with the red fingertips and everything. But I'm pretty sure the entire blue of these hands are painted. I've taken this apart to look at the inside. So there is an issue with this where if you put something like this gun in his hand, which is a 5mm port, by the way, there's a look at his gun. So we can just kill two birds with one stone right here. If you put this in his hand and then torque this to turn it, like, and you put all that pressure on the gun here and try to turn it like this, you 100% will snap his thumb off, and you're gonna have to glue it on, and you're gonna lose a whole bunch of added like strength in this joint right here. The way to fix this is arm is luckily assembled with screws. You can take this apart. You can get the disc hinge in there, whatever it's called. Sorry, and you want to file it down. So you want to file down the sides where this ring around here fits around that joint and free up that movement. I haven't done it yet. I just took it apart because I want to go get a new file, but just a heads up on that. I do not recommend turning this. Now, if you do want to turn this wrist, which I don't recommend you do until you mod it if yours is this tight, you want to brace as much of this as you can. So you want to like put your thumb right here on the thickest part of the hand, which is back here, and like not touch the thumb at all. But again, this is like, I'm not getting anything right now. There we go. I finally got something. You don't want to put any pressure anywhere else. You want to put it as close to the base of the hand as possible. Again, I didn't even like doing that for the video, but just a heads up that you may need to mod yours. I think that is an unfortunate oversight. I don't like having to recommend somebody have to modify a figure straight out of the box. That's usually not indicative of, you know, good design and execution, but you know, I think this figure is very good. I think it's you know, if this was something that was very often with Transformers outside of paint, it would be a bigger issue. So hopefully this isn't indicative of anything, and hopefully it's not a hard mod if yours is as stiff as mine. Now, fortunately for Scourge and you guys, you do not have to twist his wrist or do anything with that to transform him. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get him transformed into a space boat. Scourge in his space boat mode. Now, I'm a big fan of this just because it looks so stupid. It is animation model accurate, essentially, and yeah, I don't really know what to do with this. It's kind of just a big old hunk of like soap or something. It doesn't have landing gear. It doesn't have much of anything, but it's just this big doofy like floating thing of stuff through space. I don't know. Now, the one fun thing that you can do with this, if you just take this panel that futz with me earlier, is you can fold that up and you can have his head poking out there, like that one scene in the movie. So that's cute. And if you are curious, it's kind of odd to compare the two because they're so different, but here's the Generation Scourge with Spaceboat Scourge. So this one's based on a more Earth airplane, so it's going to be a little bit different. If you're going for a different type of vibe with Scourge, you might want to go with this one, but if you want animation accurate, definitely go with this one. Also for Scourge, as far as his weapon, he does have weapon storage. If you just want to use this 5mm port over here on the side and this one on the side of his gun, he has all that. There is something I actually forgot to cover in the robot mode as well. It's something else he comes with. So with his rifle here, he has an effect piece. So let's just go ahead and use it on Spaceboat, and he can have a blast effect on there to, you know, try and gut Ultra Magnus. Now, I'm a big fan of this figure. I think it is really nice, all things considered, with that wrist issue. Again, I hate recommending people have to fix a figure right out of the box when getting it, because that just sucks, and it's not a good experience when you have to take tools to a brand new toy. But I just want people to know about it if you are curious about this figure. I do think it's a wonderful figure. That is just a pretty damning flaw with it. So just a heads up, I don't want you guys to break yours. Please be careful with them. So with all that out of the way, again, I like this figure. I recommend it. I love the animation accuracy. I think if anything, it's kind of they did too much of a good thing with that wrist issue, because they covered that hand in paint to try and make it more accurate. So, oh well. But if you guys have any questions about this figure, please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to get back to that as soon as possible. Please like or dislike this video depending on if you enjoyed this content or not, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.